Christmas celebrations, 24th December 2022. In celebration of the return of light. Light, endless light. Darkness has room no more. Life's ignorant gulfs give up their secrecy. The huge, inconscient depths, unplumbed before, lie glimmering in vast expectancy. Light, timeless light, immutable and apart, the holy sealed mysterious doors unclose. Light, burning light, from the infinite's diamond heart, quivers in my heart where blooms the deathless rose. Light in its rapture, leaping through the nerves. Light, brooding light, each smitten, passionate cell in a mute blaze of ecstasy preserves a living sense of the imperishable. I move in an ocean of stupendous light, joining my depths to his eternal height. Sweet Mother, why do we celebrate Christmas here? What special meaning does this day have for us? Mother comments, long before the Christian religion made December 25th the day of Christ's birth, this day was the festival of the return of the sun, the day of light. It is this very ancient symbol of the rebirth of the light that we wish to celebrate here. The 25th of December was a festival of light long before Jesus Christ. This festival was in vogue long before Christianity. It originated in Egypt, and very probably the birthday of Christ was fixed on the same day as that of the return of the light. Here is a story narrated by the mother to the children on the origin of Christmas. Long, long ago, she said, some wise men noticed that the days were getting shorter and the nights longer at that time of the year. They felt that the increasing darkness might soon engulf the world and life would suffer. So they sat together in meditation and prayed and prayed. They then noticed that the days were slowly becoming longer and the stark nights shorter. Since then, the return of light was celebrated in ancient Egypt. In the essays of the Gita, Sri Aurobindo mentions the names of 3 avatars, and Christ is one of them. An avatar is an emanation of the Supreme Lord who assumes a human body on earth. I heard Sri Aurobindo himself say that Christ was an emanation of the Lord's aspect of love. When Christ came upon earth, he brought a message of brotherhood, love, and peace. But he had to die in pain on the cross so that his message might be heard. For men cherish suffering and hatred and want their God to suffer with them. They wanted this when Christ came, and in spite of his teaching and sacrifice, they still want it. And they are so attached to their pain that symbolically Christ is still bound to his cross, suffering perpetually for the salvation of men. The death of Christ was the starting point of a new stage in the evolution of human civilization. This is why Sri Aurobindo tells us that the death of Christ was of greater historical significance. That is to say, it had greater historical consequences. The story of Christ, as it has been told, is the concrete and dramatic enactment of the divine sacrifice. The Supreme Lord, who is all light, all knowledge, all power, all beauty, all love, all bliss, accepting to assume human ignorance and suffering in matter in order to help men to emerge from the falsehood in which they live and because of which they die. India has from ancient times held strongly a belief in the reality of the avatar, the descent into form, the revelation of the Godhead in humanity. The inner divinity is the eternal avatar in man. The human manifestation is its sign, and development in the external world. When we thus understand the conception of avatarhood, we see that for spiritual life, generally, the external aspect has only a secondary importance. Such controversies as the one that has raged in Europe over the historicity of Christ would seem to a spiritually minded Indian largely a waste of time. He would concede to it a considerable historical but hardly any religious importance. For what does it matter in the end whether a Jesus, son of the carpenter Joseph, was actually born in Nazareth or Bethlehem, lived and taught, and was done to death on a real or trumped-up charge of sedition? So long as we can know by spiritual experience the inner Christ, live uplifted in the light of His teaching, and escape from the yoke of the natural law by that atonement of man with God of which the crucifixion is the symbol. If the Christ, God made man, lives within our spiritual being, it would seem to matter little whether or not a son of Mary physically lived and suffered and died in Judea.
Greetings of Oriental,
The mother has given significances of the gifts offered by the three Magi to Jesus at the time of his birth. Gold, wealth of the world and supramental knowledge. Frankincense, purification of the vital. Myrrh, immortalization of the body. We must go back to the one thing needful. Take up again Christ's gospel of the purity and perfection of mankind. Muhammad's gospel of perfect submission, self-surrender, and servitude to God. Chaitanya's gospel of the perfect love and joy of God in man. Ramakrishna's gospel of the unity of all religions and the divinity of God in man, and gathering all these streams into one mighty river, one purifying and redeeming Ganges, pour it over the death in life of a materialistic humanity as Bhagirath led down the Ganges and flooded with it the ashes of his fathers, so that there may be a resurrection of the soul in mankind, and the Satya Yuga for a while return to the world. Nor is this the whole object of the Leela or the Yoga. The reason for which the avatars descend is to raise up man again and again developing in him a higher and ever higher humanity, a greater and yet greater development of divine being who lives only to bring about peace of soul, joy, purity, and perfection among all mankind. Father Christmas, I evoke you today. Answer our call. Come, bearing all your marvelous gifts. You are the great dispenser of worldly possessions. You are the untiring friend who hears every request and grants it generously. Give each one the material object he desires, and as for me, give me enough, give me so much, so that I may give largely to all.
Let